Okay, let's dig into the daily FanAd video for July 21st. These are the three games that I'm going to feature today. And as always, I'm just going to point out at the very beginning here that where you really want to start with is the PR plus. That's the pitcher rating plus, and it considers all the thousands and thousands of data points using sabermetrics, etc. But it also considers each lineup or each contest matchup. So in other words, if Urena for Miami were not playing Cincinnati, he would have a different PR plus number than he does playing Cincinnati. And also the weather conditions are considered. So depending on the weather conditions, that number will change. Right to the left is just the static PR, the static pitcher rating, and that does not consider the current matchup, does not consider the weather, the umpires, etc. It's just considering the static data on that pitcher. That would not change depending on what team they play. So where you want to start with is a PR plus. That's the first indicator that you want to start with when choosing your lineups for your fantasy contests. Now let's assume these three games are in a fantasy contest that you're going to join. Let's go through and interpret the FanAd data to try to zero in on a pitcher that we want to use. Obviously not going to use either of these two pitchers. I don't think I have to comment anymore on why not. Horrible PR plus. This one, Max Scherzer, no secret that Max Scherzer has got a good PR plus. He's got great recency. Even the good pitchers can have slumps, but he doesn't. He's not in a slump. He's got a, and we all know strikeouts are king in fantasy baseball. Sorry for all the noise with the lines there. We all know that strikeouts are king. So this is one of the highest ones I've ever seen. So obviously we're going to consider Scherzer. Problem with Scherzer is he's going to be very high priced. And in other words, it burns up your salary for selecting sluggers. So we're going to try to find someone else that might be a good choice. Godley for Arizona's got a decent PR plus at 94. He's got good recency. He's got a decent strikeout rating, so he would be a consideration. If you go down here, Chris Sale, again, that's going to be no secret to anybody. So Sale and Scherzer are going to be the ones that everybody picks. And we would think about picking or using Nolasco. He's got a great recency, but his PR plus is horrible, so he'd be really risky to use. So we really don't have much choice, but to probably enter two contests or put two entries in a contest that enter with Scherzer, another one with Chris Sale, maybe a third one with Godley from Arizona. Just not these three games. If these are in your contest, it's just not real good to find separation. There's not really any separation on pitchers, so you're going to have to just defensively play the pitchers that everyone else is going to play. So let's go to sluggers. Let's see if we can get some separation picking our sluggers. Well, if you look at this is one of the lowest PR pluses I've ever seen, 18. This is for Homer Bailey. He's got an awful recency. So obviously you've got to pick sluggers from Miami. So we're gonna take several sluggers from Miami and hope that they, that Homer Bailey doesn't have a Cy Young night for some reason. Might even take some sluggers from Cincinnati. So this game might be a high-scoring game because if you look at Cincinnati's pitcher, or Miami's pitcher, 64 is also pretty bad and got a poor recency. So, and another thing to look at is the home run rating. So you've got a home run rating here, two home run ratings that are pretty high. And we know, again, home runs are very important in fantasy contests. You get a lot of points for home runs. So we're going to take sluggers from these two teams. And also you can see here that the bullpen is a consideration because once the pitchers leave, which, in the case of Homer Bailey, he'll probably pitch 3 innings and be done. You'd like to have a bullpen that can't back him up. And Cincinnati's bullpen is not bad. However, Miami's bullpen is pretty bad. So when Urena leaves, you probably still have some slugging by Cincinnati that'll happen, against a pretty bad bullpen. So we're going to take sluggers from Miami and Cincinnati for the most part. Probably take some sluggers from Boston, just hoping that this Nolasco, who is erratic, has a bad night. But erratic means he could have a good night. He does real well. That's why he's got a great recency. Apparently, he's been on the top end of the erratic cycle, but he can fall off any time. So he's risky, but we might take a few Boston sluggers just in case he's on the downswing. probably not going to take anybody from Washington and Arizona because they both have good pitchers going. So again, in summary, we're going to put an entry in with Washington's Scherzer, an entry in with Boston's Chris Sale as our pitchers, maybe an entry with Arizona, Godley as our pitcher. So if we put 3 entries in, with one with each of those pitchers, and then we put in sluggers on all those entries with Miami, Cincinnati, heavily loaded to Miami, Cincinnati, and maybe some from Boston. We're 30 seconds past our 5-minute deadline, so I'm going to close it down there. One more comment. If you want the full FanAd, there's a big red button right below this video. And if you want an extra game, you can get access to these games that I just covered, and you can get 1 extra game just by submitting your email address below this video, and we'll email you the login. Good luck in your contests, and we'll be back at you tomorrow.